Hey everybody, welcome back to Kingdoms Reborn. In the last episode, we took our first step into the Age of Enlightenment, getting our first tier 2 luxury, the Magic Mushroom. We got our first advanced building, the advanced brewery, and we got the policymaker in order to make our city a little bit more pretty. With that, we also took a look at producing bricks in-house so that we're no longer purchasing them. And that brings us to today's episode, where we're going to take a look at the blacksmith in order to get rid of a little bit more trade. We're going to get to budgeting so that we can adjust some of our production buildings in order to make our limited population go that much further and get ready for the advanced bakery and wine production. Without further ado, there is something that I want to get started with since it's the middle of winter, and that is switching out this farm with a mill and then replacing the farm. The mill is going to be pretty important as we're getting ready for the production of bread. So let's go ahead and get the mill set up, and it's going to give a boost to all the farms around it. Let's go ahead and spin it that way. Now this kin's kind of slow built. I'm not too worried about that, but the farm I want to build pretty quick as that is our medical herbs. So I'm going to go ahead and get this switch back to medical herbs and quick build it. Our money's in a little bit of a low position, only at 11,000. And that's where I really want to stabilize through the blacksmith. Now let's down this to 3 workers. We'll pick up our yearly cards, and then we're going to look at some technology that hopefully will let us utilize our employees a little bit better. Let's pop one of these immigrations just to get us a little closer to that 228 mark. We're at 32 houses. We need 12 more in order to get to the next age. We're going to be building one right off the bat, and that's over here. Let's get this one building as we take a look at our technology. We want to get to the work schedule, so we need to pick up goldsmithing. We're not going to do goldsmithing. I don't think we have gold in our area. I don't think we're anywhere near gold. Leads to sand mining. The sand smelter will be pretty important, but that will not be this episode as I don't think we have enough population. Now onto budget. Now this will allow us to increase the budget at the cost of extra money. We get extra happiness and extra production. It's well worth it, and that leads to the work schedule. And this gives us extra production at the cost of happiness. Those two combined, and I think we can push something like the Fisher to have a little bit over 1,000. Let's grab these immigrants. I was hoping for a frugality book since we're going to be doing some adjustments to the budget. I really think that's going to be important. Let's grab motivation since it's there, and then we'll close out all the different spam. Let's get one more Fisher planned out, and then we'll do the adjustments. So 761 if we do the first adjustment, 881, almost there if we do the next adjustment, 960. But it looks like our happiness dropped just slightly. I think it was 87 and dropped to 85. So once that recovers, that might be over 1,000. Let's switch out this passion to a motivation, and we are nickel and diming that 1,000 mark. We're gonna need some iron in order to make this happen, as it takes 25 iron bars, and I do believe we are currently out of them. So in order to get this built, we are going to need a smelter. That's the next thing on our list. But on the way, I want to take a look at the brewery. What we'll do is we'll increase the budget. We're going to go ahead and increase work hours, and then we will take a look at getting a frugality, as I think that this is going to be 270. When it's up and going, the frugality would bring it down to about 90, but it increased the production enough that I think it's well worthwhile. And we're at that point now where we want to maintain our budget, but we want to start pushing the envelope, because our labor is our biggest thing that we're struggling with right now. So let's head over to, let's grab coal at the moment. Let's do the understory clearing since our forester is working, as we're under 1,000. We'll get the tree cutting technologies, and I will do the forestry town. We'll do double motivation in there. No, we'll do double productivity. And then for the coal, let's do the same thing. Let's do the upgrades on this. Now, initially I was thinking I just wanted to rush 4 of the coal burners in order to get the advanced, but I think I'm going to hold out for the time being. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the middle age upgrade, the coal conversion, and the improved production. It's a 7 wood into 46 coal. That's pretty good. If we did a double passion in there, brings it to 52, and the happiness is good. This is the neighborhood where we want to be. And then we want to set a production of 1,000. That way we don't get too overzealous. Taking a look over here, we have a lot of bricks, and I do want to stabilize those somewhere around 500. Let's go ahead and set this, and then we'll adjust the budget here. I do want the bricks up and going as much as I can, but at the same time, I want 7 workers. somewhere else. We'll go with specialized tools for an extra 15%. And the Brick Town and the Enlightened Age really aren't that important. Let's grab our yearly cards. And we had a look at the Fisher. If I remember correctly, it was 9 apiece. So we'll grab a total of 40 glass, 9 glass apiece is what I was trying to say, to get it to the Industrial Age. So let's grab this 40 glass, and then we'll upgrade the Fishers to the Enlightened Age, and that will be ready in just a moment. Now we need the smelter. So let's grab these immigrants. Let's grab this frugality book. I think that's going to be important as we're going to want it for the bakery. Let's grab the smelter next. And ultimately, I think we're going to want to bring in iron bars, but at least for right now, we can start making it, and then we can look at it, because iron bars are significantly cheaper than tools. If I remember correctly, it doesn't take a whole lot of iron bars in order to produce the tools. And then we need 2 blacksmiths. Now, ultimately, I think we need more than 2, but at least this will get us a fair start. It gets us the combo. So that's going to take a minute to build. Let's get a road going this way. And as this area gets built, I think that brings us to the advanced bakery. Now, for the advanced bakery, I'm just going to throw the regular bakeries in this area, and then we'll delete them out over time. Let's get a bakery right here. This area is probably going to be the area where I build things just to get the advanced versions and then delete them out after. Talking about that, we're good on food. Pig is something that I'd like to have the workers shift. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start deleting out the pig ranches one at a time. And then once all the pig ranches are done, we'll look at farms for this area. The smelter's done. Let's go ahead and get the upgrade teamwork for an extra 50%. That brings it to 25 from 17. We'll do the efficient furnace. Drops this from 13 down to 9. That's pretty efficiency on the making there. We don't need the smelter skills, as I don't think we're going to be using more than 1 smelter, but we will increase the budget and we'll up the work hours just a little bit. The job happiness did tank, so I'm going to drop 2 passion books in there. Brings me to 100% happiness. If I can get that a little bit happier, say through the cathedral or whatever the building is in the upgrade tree, I think it's the Great Hall for the Vikings. We'll take a look at that. I'm not ready to build that because that card is quite expensive. I think it was 6,000 in order to do it, and it's a lot of bricks and a lot of wood. I don't think we're ready for it. As soon as we hit the Industrial Age, I think we're going to double back on getting this, as it is required to ultimately end the game. This does require 2,700 in order to quick build, or we can let the iron come in. So I think we just give that a little bit of time and take a look down here at the bakeries. It looks like 2 of them are up and going. I'm going to go ahead and shut them off as I'm not ready to build them. And then if we took a look here, we could switch this over to the wood burner. It's 70 a piece. So we're in the neighborhood of, for 4 workers, if we did 4 runs, it would be 280. For 10 runs, it would be 700. My guess is that we'd need somewhere around 8 runs in order to make this pay for itself when it comes to the amount of workers. And we could take a look at what the upgrades are, because I believe if we delete this out, we get the upgrade points back. Let's grab our yearly cards. We'll pop one of those immigrants to get our population closer to that 230, 234 mark. Can't say 234 apparently. So we'll grab those. It's still 10 away, so we need a little bit more to get there. But we'll grab the recipe in order to get that 30% boost. Brings us to 84. And then if we get the improvised ovens, brings us to 91. So for 4 workers, we need somewhere around 500 food, maybe 6 runs we would be there, and then it would need a little bit to cover the windmill. This is not quite efficient. If we went into the Enlightened Age, maybe we'd have enough. I'm not really sure. Let's grab these immigrants. We will grab the frugality book, as I think we're going to need a few of them. And then this one is up and going, and we have the advanced bakery. So let's shut this off. I'm not going to take the card, as I have plenty of wild cards, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Let's get rid of all of these bakeries. And it looks like, because I'm seeing stacks of stuff there, so we've got stones and bricks and everything there. So it looks like we get all the materials back that it takes to build them. So we're going to get rid of this one right here and get that card back. I can sell those off screen. That really doesn't matter. And we're out of medicines. That's concerning, as we're going to need all of the meds. We don't need anybody getting sick. That will be a cascade fail. Let's get a road down there. We'll get a warehouse, and that will at least get us a little bit closer to our goal of having, I think it was 4 warehouses in order to get the advanced one. So we'll get this one over here, and then we'll do the advanced bakery behind it. It does give a negative attraction, so we're going to want to make sure it's plenty far away from any houses. And then with this, I would like a hauling post right behind it. So let's grab a copy of this. We have some people leaving of starvation. I might have a miniature die out right now as we're getting set up for the bread. Let's take a look at the blacksmith up here as it looks like they are up and going. I want to set the budget on high, and I want to get the work schedule to a little bit of overtime. Brings us to a total of 11 of the tools per run. It's not very good. It's getting there type of thing, but it's not really good. We give the improved forge, brings us to 12. If we did a double passion, brings us to 13. Like to see this a little bit higher, and the way that we might go about it is industrial adjacency in the upgrade tree. So we'll take a look at that shortly. Let's drop double passion in there. And if we take a look in the upgrade tree, tax adjustment costs 4,000 basically. We have the research. Let's go ahead and do it. And then industrial technologies adjacency, that is 10,000, and we have 15. So we'll go ahead and do that for an extra 5%. Let's go ahead and close out all of our spam. And if we take a look, it's still at 14. Like to see this up a little bit higher. I know that part of it is we need the alloys, as this would be a 30% boost, but we need paper, and I don't know that we want to buy 130 paper because that's a lot of money. Let's take a look and see how much that is, and I believe we need to go down and upgrade our fishers since we have the glass in. Ooh, PA. I was gonna do plums. So if we were to pick up 140, it would be a good chunk of money. It would probably pay for itself over time, but at the same time, I want to see our budget going up, and that would tank it. I want to get the grape breeder, and I don't know that if I spend that much money, if I'm going to have the money for it. So I'm going to hold out for the moment. We'll grab our yearly cards. I'm going to go ahead and pop this immigration. We're still 6 shy of our goal there. I don't want to add another immigration office, as I think we're at a stable place where we're going up in our population. We're just kind of holding on there. Let's get this one fully upgraded, and we'll go ahead and bring it into the enlightened age. Doesn't bring us quite to the 1,000 yet, but we're also missing those 2 books, and that brings us to 1,068. That's a good space. If we could push our happiness to say 100%, I think we'd be at that 1,200 mark. So that's looking good for the time being. I wanted those workers. I got click happy, and we've got all the spam from all that. It looks like our advanced bakery is up and going. Let's go ahead and pause it for a moment, as we want this to be wood fired. We're at 271, so not quite what it was at with the regular one, as it was at 280. So we'll increase the budget a little bit. Brings us to 290. If we drop a frugality book in there, brings us to 87. I think that's where we want to be money wise. And then if we take a look over here, the windmill, we could do some upgrades here. We want to match the amount of flour we're producing with the amount of flour we're using, and currently we're at 56. So we either need a sustainability over here to try to get this to 56. Let's increase the budget. Let's increase the hours. We'll give it a motivation, and a productivity brings us to 33. Not quite enough. Let's drop that sustainability out of there. Let's drop the sustainability in here, and 33 to 39. I think we're in the neighborhood of where we want to be. So we're not quite there on the amount of bread we're producing. We'll do the improved ovens. We'll do the baking recipes. Brings us to 436. We're getting there, guys. Let's do a little bit of overtime. Brings us to 475. I think we want this to be a little bit higher, but part of that will come through time as we get more of them and do the Baker's Guild and the building combo. Those will go together. I think that this is going to come together. We only need roughly 5 runs of this a year in order to produce enough for the bakery, 6 runs in order to produce enough for the windmill, and I'm hoping we can do that. If we can, this is the way to go, and this will be the way of the future, and then we're just going to have to balance out like the frugality and the sustainability until we get another windmill. Once we get another windmill, I think we'll be golden in order to just have windmills producing them. Let's get the improved grinding. Doesn't really do a whole lot, but it brings us to 35, so we're only a couple off of where we need to be in order to produce enough. I don't want to buy flour. I think that's a way that we could go, but I really don't want to. And we've got some hungry people running around as we're getting our harvest for the year. I'm worried that we're going to have a little bit of a starve off. But right now we're holding, so we're good. Let's get ready for the production of wine, as that will be our next luxury. I'm not sure what luxury I want to go after. If you guys have an idea of what maybe would be a good one, throw it down in the comments. We'll do a stone road leading over this way, just to make sure that everybody that's going to get wine is able to do so quickly. And we'll throw the line right to there. And this area is where we're going to want to start producing wine. Let's get this house building, and that will bring us to, oh man, where's my houses? It will bring us to 40 houses, so we're going to need 10 more after that. So we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. This area is going to be a little bit different than the standard farm, as we're going to want not only a granary in the middle, we're going to want the card breeder, a hauler, and a windmill. So we're going to do something a little bit different. I guess we could pause it for this. We'll do 16 by 16, and then we'll do one more over here. This will give us the spacing in order to build what we want to build. We'll do roads this way, and I should have done roads this way. Let's see how close I was, and I guess I was on that time. Usually I'm not really good at that sort of stuff. The eyeballing it for some reason I'm not very good at. We'll get the roads coming back this way, get this connected, and lastly would be this one right here. Now that those are connected, we can get rid of the two farms in order to place first the granary, and after that, I don't know why I always want to do the gather, but it's the granary. We'll place that right here. We'll get the mill next, and we'll place the mill on this side over here, and then the hauling post is last, and we're going to go ahead and put the hauling service right here. And it looks like the windmill is ever so slightly smaller than the other two. That's going to throw me off, as I'm going to look at that and be like, hey, wait, what's going on? Now for this, we're going to need a lot of houses. So we'll place a house right here is a guiding. We'll place a house right there as to where the market will be. And then we'll place the houses over here. Now these will take care of the farm, but they won't take care of the brewer, as I'm pretty sure we're going to go after the tier 2, the advanced one. So we're going to need more houses than that in total, but at least that will get us a start. If we can, I'd like to make it to the advanced brewery this episode. Let's get these all plotted out. We'll get a road up this way, as we might as well, I guess we could start those houses just to have them ready. And then what I'll do is I'll shut them off for the time being. But this will be our guiding line there. Let's go ahead and pick up our yearly card. Absolutely some immigrants there. And we could grab those immigrants in order to boost our population. We've got some people dying of the cold. I'm a little bit leery, you know. I was hoping that we'd be in better shape than we are. But we're starting to make headway. We're starting to get money. So we are moving in the right direction. It's just taking a lot longer than what I thought. Let's grab these immigrants. We'll grab the motivation card, as that will be really important for the future. I'm sure we're going to go with a motivation in the winery, and then we'll get this farm right here. We'll grab this one. One of these is going to have to be medical herbs, as I'm noticing that they're really struggling. We'll get this one over to medical. We'll get this one set to cabbage for the time being. And then this one down here will do the same. We'll get it set to cabbage, and these will stay cabbage until we get the breeder. Speaking of that, let's go take a look at how much the breeder is in order to know if we have enough money. Last I knew, it upgraded as we bought one, and it was quite a bit more expensive. So if we take a look, we're at 15.3. We go ahead and buy it. It brings it to 23. So we're going to have to start pairing all of our breeders with the center of a farming in order to make sure that if we need to upgrade it, we can. I know currently the tulips and the cannabis are on the outside, so we're going to have to redirect those in order to be on the inside so we can have more than one farm. Let's get the breeder right there, and then we can get this last farm up and going. And this will all be grapes at some point in time, except for this one. This one can stay medical herbs. Let's go ahead and quick build this. We're a little bit shy on money. I'm going to go ahead and mark it down to 3 workers. I wish there was a way to standardize that and say, hey, for this size of a field, just have this much. And then something that I'd really like to see is we're getting to a point now where we need to use wheat for production of beer and for the production of bread. There needs to be a system in place to where we can say citizens can't have this, so that we can use it for something else. And I know that other games, Settlement Survival has it. I believe that Patreon has it, where you can set up a limitation in order to keep certain things from being used. It would be a really, really good aspect of this game if they could add that in. Might not make it. I mean, it is a completely different game This is a reimagined Banish, and they've done it with their own twist, and I think they've done an amazing job with it. Let's take a look at the technologies, because I'd like to make it to the zoo, and that means we need to get coffee roaster. This may be our third tier 2 luxury. So we need the coffee roaster, which requires one more tier 4 house, cattle ranch, which would lead to cheese making, the theater, which would require the chocolatier, which requires tier 6 houses. So we'd have to get the coffee roaster in order to get the chocolatier, and then that would lead to the zoo. So we're a little bit away from there, as we'll probably pick up wine at the end of this episode. That'll be the start of the next episode. Maybe the next episode we'll start working on coffee, as that will lead us to the zoo. But I think the zoo and the museum is where we want to be, as that is the next big push in order to make sure that our citizens are in good shape, as some of those cards decrease the price of trade. They decrease the consumption, which I mean 5% consumption decrease when we're on this difficulty gives a total of every 20 people has food for an extra person. So we would have the extra 10 people worth of food for where we're at right now. That's going to be major in order to move us forward. Let's grab our yearly cards. We'll pop one of these immigrants just to try to get us to that 240 mark. It looks like we moved back a little bit, so we'll take that. We do want these immigrants, and we'll pick up, I guess, the sustainability book just to make sure we have one. We'll go with a mix of passion, motivation, and frugality at this point in time. I had a comment a few episodes ago about sustainability is kind of the way. I think I'm starting to see that and kind of believe that. Let's shut this off. As long as it's given the boost to the fields, we should be in good shape. And if I take a look at this one and we take a look at the efficiency, it is near the windmill, so it does get the windmill bonus even though it is shut off. That's what I want to make sure that we're getting. So we'll let these build up a little bit, and let's take a look at the blacksmith, which are currently not in use. That's something we're going to want to fix right away. So let's take a look at our job priorities, and we'll move the blacksmith up. And the windmill is currently not in use. The advanced bakery is not in use, and everybody's being focused in these areas. So we are hurting at the moment. Let's move the hauling service down so that we get some people in the advanced bakery. Let's get it underneath the blacksmith so that we get some people into the blacksmith. And I think we're going to have to use a couple of these cards in order to bring our population up to get these filled. What do we need? A couple more. I think we're going to have to go with a immigration office, but I'm worried that we're getting a lot of kids. And usually when we get a lot of kids, we get a pretty big die-off. Let's go ahead and pick up one more, and it brings us to where the advanced bakery is almost filled. I want to leave the magic mushrooms up and going, and the immigration office, I want to leave them up and going, as that's the way we've been getting our people in. I think we pop one more, and it gets the advanced bakery filled. So now we just need to get the blacksmith filled. I guess what we could do is start getting rid of the pig ranches a little bit quicker, just to focus some people into the blacksmith. If we took a look, we only produced 56. So even though it took about 2,000 gold off of the trade, it was a little lower than what we wanted to be. So I want to keep pushing people into the blacksmith. Let's get rid of this pig ranch right here. And this episode's going to be a little shorter than normal just because I'm struggling with my voice. We've had some rough weather here over the last week. We had a trick over Halloween where we got 10 inches of snow in about 3 hours, and it caused us to lose power for 2 days. And then we lost internet with it. So even when we got power, because it would flicker on and off occasionally, but then it would go back down, we lost internet. So it was a rough couple of days, and then I lost voice to go with it. So it's been an interesting time. So I think I'm going to call this one a little bit short as we're getting ready for the production of wine. I'd like to thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you in the next one.